Episode number 19, Mount Rainier National Park.
Super excited for this because this is a park I've wanted to go to for like 3 years now.
And we finally got to go.
And it was great.
It was fantastic. We enjoyed it very much. We're going to try to provide as much information as far as what we did and what we were exposed to and what we experienced as we can, as close to a guide for Mount Rainier as you can get. I'm sure there are other resources out there where people know more and provide a little more information, but I think for what we did and for the little bit of insight that we can glean, I think it'll be a pretty good, this will be a good addition to a portfolio for trying to figure out a good Mount Rainier trip. This is definitely not a one-stop shop for a Mount Rainier trip, but I think this will be a good starting point, or if you want to pick your way through and try to find some stuff and some good information. I think it'll be a good episode.
Also bearing in mind that we did this trip July 20th to, did we leave Thursday or Friday?
So the end date that I have for the episode is the 25th, but we went out to the coast for
the night on the 24th, right? Yeah.
I think so.
So we were there July 20th to 24th, 2025, and I'm picturing a map, northwest and southeast corners of this park are closed at this point in time. So we didn't get to do anything in those corners of the park for this trip. So we spent all of our time in Paradise and Longmire.
We started in Paradise and we ended up going to Sunrise.
Yep. So Paradise is in the southwest corner of the park. Longmire's in the very, very southwest corner of the park. And then we circled around and went to Sunrise, which is the northeast corner of the park. We both preferred
Sunrise,
which is much less traveled this year, and I don't know if it's the first year that they've done this or not. This year, Sunrise, the northeast corner of the park, is requiring timed entry tickets. So we had a ticket to get into the park up there one of the mornings. However, they also have a first come first serve campground up there in that corner, so we ended up getting a campground parking spot, and then you're just in the park and you don't have to leave. So we were there for a couple of days.
But we'll get there. So before we get too deep into this and I forget, this is the same trip that we were on for episode 18 for the ice cream festival in Vancouver and our time in Portland, and the total trip was from July 17th until July 25th.
So we left Vancouver on the Sunday, the 20th, after the ice cream festival, and we went to Mount Rainier for a few days.
Yeah, so the last episode you heard, we were leaving Little Conejo Mexican restaurant and getting on the road. That day we got on the road and headed to Mount Rainier.
And it's a 3 to 4 hour drive. I
don't remember
a bad exactly.
Drive.
So we drove up there, and I like to do national parks a lot, and I'm the one that plans our trips, so that's why I say I like to do national parks a bit differently than a lot of people. I like to have multiple days at the park and see how much we can do, but also not feel like we're slamming in 5 hikes every day trying to see how much we can do in as short a period of time as possible. So we had reservations at Cougar Rock Campground in Paradise that first night on Sunday. So yeah. We got there late, so we didn't have to check in. They were the office was closed or whatever.
We never saw the office open. Between arriving in the evening and leaving in the morning, we were never in the campground when the office was open.
No, we went one day, and I talked to the guy, and I asked him if they had a different site available.
Okay.
It was the other one. It was White River that we never saw a person at.
Okay.
So we got there in the evening, got to our site, got settled in.
If you go to Cougar Rock, this can go for Cougar Rock and what was the one in Sunrise?
White River.
Either of the campgrounds for
Mount Rainier.
For Mount Rainier that we stayed at, don't expect perfectly level campsites. If you're in a van like us, bring some Lego blocks. Be prepared for small, cramped, pretty tight spaces, and I say that because there are overhanging branches in a lot of positions, so if you don't want to rub your van, the space becomes tight because you don't have a lot of space because you're trying to avoid branches. They are uneven, they are unlevel, front to back, side to side. No matter how you cut the cake, it's not coming out flat. So bring some Legos and be prepared for anywhere from an extreme leveling experience to a mild leveling experience.
And they do have bigger sites.
They do.
This was for a national park trip, a last minute trip, so I just had to like snag sites when I could get them and was just stuck with what we got. But
I don't know if you're going to like this.
that I don't think I am, even though it was bought for me. But that being said, I do think that the sites are more geared towards tent camping, because their tent platforms all looked super nice. So if you're tent camping there, you'll be good to go.
If you're driving in and tent camping, or I can't imagine there are too many people hiking in, but if you're tent camping and doing it that way, yes, the tent setups are
like they're big, level.
I'm not experienced in tent camping, but they looked fine.
Yeah, they looked nice.
I can't say they're lovely because I have no practical experience in applying that opinion, but they looked good.
So we stay there that night. Cougar Rock Campground is...
And there's a mix in the bathhouses. You have like real toilets and vault toilets. So if you prefer a real toilet, just go to a different loop and there might be a real toilet over there. If you're not worried about it, then you're good, because almost every loop has a restroom. I wish I could remember. There was one loop that didn't have a bathhouse, right? I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Whatever. There are real toilets and there are vault toilets.
There are no showers. And this season,
it is a primitive campsite.
This season, 2025, the dump and fill stations are closed for, I'm assuming, construction. So there was also there's water bottle fill stations, or like water fill stations, but nothing with like a threaded spout on it. So you couldn't hook up a hose and fill a tank. So bear that in mind. Not that this is going to do anybody any good, because this is going to release too late for the season. Anyway, so we did that.
You made to release it tomorrow.
Next. So we stayed there that Sunday night, and then the next day we got up and we drove up to Paradise from the campground, and I had our first hike picked out, which was the Moraine Trail. I picked this one, I don't know why, probably because I didn't think it was going to be super crowded and people said it had good views.
It was not crowded at all. We were never behind anyone. On the way up, so the trail starts off paved. There were a lot of people. I say a lot. There were half a dozen people that we crossed paths with on the way up the paved trail until you break off of the main trail onto the actual Moraine Trail. And then I don't think we were behind anyone. We might have seen a couple coming out that started before us.
When we were getting back, but I don't remember that. But on our way out, we passed a couple of people that were like getting to the Moraine Trail, to like the section that was separated. Yeah,
if you start the Moraine Trail early, you're not gonna. There's no crowd. So it was a good one, and I enjoyed the Moraine Trail a lot.
Yeah, it was. I felt like some of the prettiest, and you probably haven't made it through all the videos yet. I felt like it was some of the prettiest wildflowers that we saw.
I've only made it through Moraine, but Moraine was spectacular. The only thing for our trip, our only bad day as far as weather goes, was the first day when we were on the Moraine Trail, and when we later did the Nisqually Vista Trail. There were some low-hanging clouds, and Rainier had some overhead clouds. So it wasn't a bluebird day. It wasn't a perfect day.
We also got some rain that afternoon.
And we got rain that afternoon.
So we couldn't do the second.
So, like, the Moraine Trail, if you get it on a pretty day, it's amazing. Rainier is right there for the entire trail for you to see. Just absolutely up front and in sight. But, we got it. It was still pretty. I still think the video for the Moraine is going to be really pretty.
I think it would be really cool to do that one again on a clear day, because I wonder what views you would get to the south. Because this one, you're hiking towards Rainier from the south, and once you get close to the Moraine, which the trail is named after, which is like a glacial path.
Glacial trench. And by trench, it's massive.
And it's where what river is it? Anyways, we had it's Dead Horse Creek, I think. So we had really cool views to the south, but they were obscured by fog and clouds. So I think it would be really fun to do that one again.
But even obscured,
it was really cool
it
because
made for some amazing photos.
Because we were above these clouds, which is why I kind of call them fog, because
we
we
were
were above them. They were down in the valleys.
You're at 5,400 feet when you're hiking up the moraine. And the other thing I wanted to say that I almost forgot, pay attention to the trail. We got off trail at least once. We were still on a trail. We weren't like bushwhacking through greenery. We weren't trampling greenery, but we did get off the trail at least once when we were on the ridge line for the moraine.
But it was somewhere that I wanted to hike anyways. I just didn't realize that that's where we were.
So we did that. There are a couple of spots where it's kind of tricky. When you get to the end of the established trail, you can continue on, but at the same time, don't trample wild growth. Don't go through the plants trying to get to another spot. Just stick
stay
to
on the rocks.
Stick to the path. Stick to the rocks. Don't trample growth in order to get to a spot so that you can get a pretty picture for Instagram, because chances are no one's going to look at it. So it's not worth it to destroy the foliage in order to take a picture that you're probably never going to look at again, and other people at best will hit a little heart-shaped box for.
So I'll be curious once you watch all the videos from these hikes. I felt like it was some of the best wildflowers.
Yeah, it could have been. The only other one that can compete is Skyline.
And see, I felt like there were way more wildflowers on Moraine.
There were a ton. Moraine's really pretty. I think you're going to be impressed. You never watched the videos, but whenever I show you like the final edits for the photos, because I've already shown you the photos, and it's not like I do a whole lot to change them.
Right.
Whenever I'm doing the final product anyway. But yeah, Moraine was a really pretty trail. I would highly recommend it. It ended up being 3 miles.
My All Trails recording is 3.12 miles, 817 feet of elevation. It took us an hour and a half. It is an out and back. That 3.12 does have the little off-trail section, so it was probably closer to like 3 if you stayed on trail the whole time.
Less than 3, actually. I mean, it was a long section of video with us walking down and then being like, we're in the wilderness! No, you saying like, we're in the wilderness!
I said, we're in the Rainier wilderness! So, I really enjoyed that one. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for something a little bit more off the beaten path that's not going to be like the Skyline Trail. Obviously, the views aren't the same as the Skyline Trail, but
Moraine was super cool.
I really enjoyed that one. So we did that one. It only took us an hour and a half. We had Sandy in the van, and we try not to leave her for more than a 2 or 3 hour period at a time because she is a diva and attached to her people. But I was like, it only took us an hour and a half. We can go do this one real quick. So from the same spot, which is the lower parking lot at Paradise, we did the Nisqually Vista Trail, which ended up being a 1.1 mile hike, 174 feet of elevation. It was paved the whole way.
Was it? You see, I'm having trouble right now keeping up between... I've pretty much forgotten Nisqually Vista. I haven't watched the video back. I'm having a hard time remembering it over Silver Forest.
Oh. See, so Nisqually Vista was really easy. I believe it was paved the whole time. It was a lollipop. So it had one loop. It was like an out with a loop, and then you come back on the same lollipop handle. And there were no views until you got to the lollipop part, and there were like 3 nice views of Rainier.
For me, I can say it was forgettable. Like,
yeah, it was...
If
it's good, it's recommended for like families with small children, people with accessibility issues. So I mean, it's good for that if you want a good it had a nice view of Rainier for sure, but it was like 3 spots that had nice views, and that was it. The rest was just kind of through the trees.
If you are able-bodied and you can do a hike, Moraine has as good or better views
for sure
of Rainier.
But it was significantly more difficult.
Oh, Moraine? So we kind of blew past. The approach to the Moraine Trail is difficult. It's steep.
It's alright. It wasn't that bad.
I
We were huffing and puffing a little bit. Are you talking about on the paved part?
Yes.
Yeah, the paved part, I mean, it was uphill.
I don't, like, I feel like a lot of times it sounds like I'm going after people when I'm talking about the people that should or should not be doing the hikes that we're doing. It was difficult, and I don't think that I would tell somebody. We saw people struggling to get up the approach to the Moraine Trail. And I don't want to go into too much detail and be the guy that's like shaming people for doing this. If you can do it, do it. If you want to do it, do it. I don't want to make there be any illusion that it's a leisurely stroll, because it is not. But once you get past the paved section and you get to the trail itself, it's fine. But the paved section, there are some extremely steep sections that could be considered.
There was one really steep section where I was like, you probably were too, but you were behind me, like leaning.
You watch the video back and you're like, you can't see Whitney's shoulders because Jake's leaned over so far. It's difficult. We're in good shape. We take for granted how good a shape we're in.
But like
you need to be prepared for there to be a challenge. It's not impossible. Pretty much anyone can do it, but it's difficult.
Most people also take their time doing things, whereas I'm like, go. Make this exercise. Let's do this. We got to get through it so we can do as much as possible.
I'm not trying to make anything out of it other than saying be prepared for a challenge.
And Nisqually Vista is definitely a lot easier than the Moraine Trail.
It is. There was no part of Nisqually Vista where I was out of breath and huffing and puffing and felt there be a physical challenge. There is a physical challenge to get to the Moraine Trail.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
So we did the Nisqually Vista Trail. Great accessibility enabled trail.
Accessible trail.
Yeah, but the Moraine Trail is where it's at if you just want to be away from the crowds and have... This is if you do it early. I have no idea about what it is at like 1 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. I don't know. If you're doing hikes in the mid-afternoon, you're going to be with people. I don't know what to tell you. If you're not going out and starting a hike at like... What time did we start Moraine? Like
7
or 8?
Probably like 8, 7:45, I think.
I don't know. If you're hiking when everybody else is hiking, it's going to be busy. I'm sorry. I don't know how to change that. But we did those and went back to the parking lot, ate lunch, did our normal lunch with the dog, recorded an episode in the parking lot, and watched people drive like absolute maniacs. Someone that's going to listen to this is one of those people that drives like maniacs through the parking lot. I hope you get yours one day. I really do. If you drive the way that these people drive through parking lots, I hope you get yours one day.
This parking lot that we were in was almost like a 2-level. Like
there was some elevation change.
It was a U-shaped parking lot that like the ends connected out at the road, and we were on the upper level, which was the end level, and it was supposed to be a one-way loop. The amount of people that we sat and watched go the wrong way through this loop, and the one dude who...
It's not a question. There are multiple do not enter signs, and there are arrows painted on the ground.
And then we watched one dude rip in from the wrong direction and whip into a parking spot that somebody backed out of while another person was waiting to get into it. And then, to top it all off, he parked on top of the line because he couldn't even get straight. It was terrible. Anyway, so we ate lunch, spent some time with the dog, recorded an episode. We went and walked up. You can walk from there to the visitor center, which there's a sidewalk the whole way, which is super nice.
There was so much that happened in between the Nisqually Trail and the rain that afternoon.
We went to the visitor center and I talked to a ranger. I don't think I got my souvenirs then because I wanted you to go look at the souvenirs.
Lunch in the parking lot. No, you did not. Recording an episode. Went to the lodge. You went to the visitor center, did your thing at the visitor center. So the visitor center at Paradise is nuts. All day, every day. So you have the main parking lot at the visitor center, and you have the lower parking lot, which is the parking lot that we parked in. Look, if you want a parking spot and you don't want to have to drive around aimlessly hunting for a parking spot, hoping that somebody backs out of a spot in front of you so that you can get into it, you have to go early. The lots fill up quick. I get that we were there during wildflower bloom season. We're there in July. We're there during an active part of the year. I don't know how apparently the visitation to this park is a small window. You only have so long you can go.
It's like June to October, November for like the main.
the best piece of advice I can give you for Rainier is the same piece of advice that you hear me. I used to say it in our hiking videos. I stopped saying it because it's just a given at this point. Get there early. And by early, I mean get in your parking spot no later than 7:30 a.m. I realize that's difficult. I realize there are families that have children that have to get people moving, and you're sometimes driving in from an RV park outside the park, and you have to get through the gate, and it's a long drive. You're going to save yourself so much stress by not having to aimlessly drive around and wait for a parking spot by just getting there early, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it seems so obvious, and it's so repetitive because I feel like I say it about so much stuff, but just get there early. I know it's tough.
It definitely makes for a better experience, at least for us. I mean, some people might not mind, like, driving around looking for a spot or having a park far away or whatever, but especially us because we spent so much time. Like, there were a couple days, like, we just parked and were there for...
All day
or half the day, most of the day. So, we walked around the visitor center, and then we walked over to the I don't know what the different places are called, but it was, like, the lodge that's run
The lodge
by...
is up the hill, which is, I think, a private entity.
Yeah. And I was feeling snackish.
Whitney was feeling snackish. Whitney, what did you want? You kept telling me you wanted something.
A cookie, I think.
You wanted a cookie. That's what it was.
Cookie.
I went into the visitor center, and there were no cookies in the visitor center, but I came out like, yo, they got some good-looking chili dogs. So I was jealous of the people walking around with chili dogs. Then we walked up to the lodge, and you were like, go in the lodge and see if you can get me a cookie. So I go in the lodge, and I walk in, and there are no cookies. I'm looking around, there are no cookies, but in the top right-hand corner of the display case, there are donuts. And amongst the donuts, surprise, surprise, there are apple fritters. So I'm like, apple fritter, Whitney? Yes.
Basically a donut.
Match made in heaven. And then it also made sense. They had Rainier Lager on draft. So I got a draft of Rainier Lager for myself to also share with Whitney. So I walked outside with our apple fritter and our Rainier Lager, and Whitney said the apple fritter was inedible because it was too cold, so she asked me to walk back inside and heat it up because there was a microwave. So I walked back inside and heated it up.
You offered.
So that
I didn't know there was a microwave.
So that it was edible for Whitney's tastes, because she doesn't like fresh apple fritters to be warm because they're too oily, but apparently she likes
previously... You didn't make it warm, you just made it not cold. There's a difference.
Previously frozen apple fritters to be microwaved in order to be better.
Quit being a negative Nancy. It was a good fritter.
You got a really good picture of... Oh, no, that was the next... I don't know why I put that picture there. That's whenever we... That's not even the next day.
That's the one that you were like, why did you send me this picture?
I know. So that's a good picture, but that's later. That's at sunrise. We're in paradise right now.
Why did you send me this picture?
Rainier's good. I liked Rainier. I would drink Rainier.
Rainier was very lagery.
You didn't like it. I liked it more than you do. We tried driving around to visit other spots while we waited out the rain. We went over...
no, we tried to go do a hike.
Well, we tried going over to Reflection Lake.
We did go to Reflection Lake. We tried to do a hike.
We tried going on a hike at Reflection Lake. We actually made it to Reflection Lake.
We went to Reflection Lake. I think we had our boots on and everything. And
we'd gotten dressed, and our friends showed up, and we started talking to our friends.
And we were about to go on a hike, and then we heard this big old crack thunder. And I was like, well, guess we're not going on that hike. So then what did we do? We decided not to go on the hike.
We went back to the Paradise parking area for dinner and showers. We went and parked on the top, so...
Is that when we recorded? That's when we recorded. Is it not?
No, we recorded at lunch earlier that day.
Okay.
We went back and sat over there, and I think that might have been when...
That was when they started putting cones out because they were shutting the lot down.
Yeah, because we knew the next day we had to get to the parking lot early because those parking spots were going to be closed for construction.
I think we ate dinner, and didn't we decide to shower there because we knew how unlevel our spot was going to be at the campground that night?
Yeah.
So we ate dinner and showered and then went to the campground back for the night. And since I booked these last minute, we had a different site every night. And we went...
We had 2 nights in a row that was the same site.
No, we didn't. No, that was White River because that was first come, first serve. But Cougar Rock, we were in different sites both nights because...
I'm not dependable for these types of things unless it's explicitly stated in my notes.
We had scoped out the site that we had booked for Monday night on Sunday while we were there, and I was like, good God, that site is awful. So since we didn't have anything else to do, we just parked in the parking lot at the visitor center, and it was pretty level. And I was like, let's just shower here. That way we don't have to worry about getting super level and worry about like the water in the shower draining. So we went, and I drove us up. Well, I put out blocks for Jake to drive us up onto a 3 Lego pyramid. And we were still
Was
almost...
that on the back right corner?
No, that was in the front, both
Oh.
ends. And we still almost rolled out of bed that night.
I did not almost roll it. You might have almost rolled out of bed.
It was ridiculous what an incline we were on.
I had you for a bump stop to keep me from rolling out of bed. I had you and the dog to slow me down from rolling out of bed.
Sweet. So that was that night.
Back to Paradise. So we spent both of our days at Paradise in the mornings. We went to Paradise the next morning. We got there early enough. There was no challenge for us getting a parking spot. We got the parking spot that we wanted at the Paradise Visitor Center in the upper lot the next morning. It was a good spot. It was on the very back row where the road is the widest. Unfortunately, it's also where a lot of people come ripping off of the main road into the parking lot. But the road section there is wide enough that we didn't have people right on our back bumper flying past us. But that's not to say they wouldn't have gotten a boot to the front or side of their vehicle if I was outside at the right time. So we were over there, and the intention that day, which we did, was to do the Skyline and Golden Gate. I called it a loop in my notes. The Skyline and Golden Gate loop trails. Skyline could have started better. I feel like there was some tension with Jake and other hikers in the beginning of the trail trying to get up into the elevation and away from the beginning of the trail.
So the Skyline Loop is arguably probably the most popular hike in Mount Rainier. So there were people. We didn't get a super early start. I took my first picture at 7:39 a.m. And there were...
I feel like that's an early enough start.
There were a lot of people around us on this first, like, paved section of the trail going up. What?
There's a woman in a pink hoodie carrying a black and white moo cow looking dog.
I see it. So there were a lot of people, and as usual, there were some people that lacked trail etiquette, so there was a little bit of frustration on our parts. But we got past it.
Definitely on my part.
We got past it.
You're not as verbal and you're not as loud as me whenever it comes to being aggravated with people on the trail. Months ago, the video will have released of the Skyline Trail. And if you want to hear... I don't know how snarky I got loud. If you want to hear how snarky other people get when you call them out for being poor hikers, then just go back and revisit the Skyline hike. And remember, don't be this guy, and don't raise your children to think that it's okay to be this guy. I'm saying that, and I'm leaving it at that. But I thought the Skyline was a great hike.
So we did the Skyline. It's a loop that you can do just on the Skyline, but since we were on a time crunch, I think the loop is like 5.5-ish miles if you do the Skyline loop. But since we had Sandy in the van, I wanted to make it a little bit shorter, and so we cut out the eastern section of the trail. We did the trail clockwise, cut out the eastern side of the trail, the like 12 to 6 o'clock part of the trail, and went down.
Clockwise is approaching the not the summit, but like the Skyline, the overlook, the steep way. If you go clockwise, and I didn't feel like it. I never felt at any point on doing the steep quote, like I'm doing the quote fingers right now for Skyline. I don't feel like any section of that was worse than doing the paved approach for Moraine Trail the day before.
No, it was just a lot longer.
It was a lot longer. It was extended, but I don't feel like at any point it was anywhere near as difficult. Definitely not more difficult. So if you can do the approach to Moraine, you can do the steep section for Skyline. You just need to be prepared for a longer period of time climbing.
And there's nothing difficult about it in the sense that, like, you're not going up large steps. You're not going on these, like, rocky, rooted, muddy, difficult surfaces. It's literally a paved surface. It's just, at times, a steep incline. So, like, you can go a little bit, and then you can stop and rest. And then you can go a little bit, and then you can stop and rest.
And it's big.
Or you can go as slow as you want, and just slow and steady wins the race.
And it's big.
But
so
it's
there's
wide.
there's plenty of room for people to go around you. As long as you're not a family of like 8 taking up the entire trail because your kids walk at negative 27 miles an hour.
And you can't tell them to step to the side.
You have no awareness of anyone else being out on a hike. But that's just Jake letting his blood pressure spike again. So
we did the Skyline Trail, and we went up to Paradise Point. And then we went beyond Paradise Point, and we're way above that, and then continued on the high Skyline Trail.
So going on the Skyline Trail to, is it Paradise Point, is like the big wow popular overlook spot?
Yeah,
it is 100% worth it to spend an extra 15 minutes and go to high Skyline. Is that your first sip? Okay. I cannot emphatically state it enough. Leave Paradise Point as quickly as possible. Leave the crowd.
Take some pictures first.
You don't even have to.
Yes.
You can go past and go to high Skyline, and then you're going to be up there with like 4 people, 6 people, and you're going to have all this space to yourself. And then you can take pictures of people at Paradise Point who are a couple of 100 feet below you.
I feel like from Paradise Point, though, you get better pictures of like the meadow below you.
Because you're closer to it.
It's kind of hidden once you go up to high Skyline. So it's a little bit different viewpoint because people love the meadows.
Okay, fair.
So take pictures from both.
But don't skip high Skyline.
Just do the loop if you can.
We were on a time crunch, and I get, like, we can hike faster, but high Skyline is 100% worth it. It gets you away from the crowd that is at Paradise Point. It's not that much more difficult. It adds a little bit of time. It adds a little bit of distance. But if you've made it to Paradise Point, you can make it to high Skyline. And then at that point, it is literally all downhill from there. And if you do like us, you use the
Golden
Gate Trail to get back, and it shaves some distance off. And you still get some good stuff out of Golden Gate. I thought Golden Gate was pretty.
Yeah, it was really pretty. And then I think it cuts off, I think somebody told me like 3/4 of a mile. So we cut off like 3/4 of a mile. So, 15, 20 minutes, 15-ish minutes for us. And you still get to go to Myrtle Falls, which is really popular. And
yeah,
it was really pretty. I got a really good picture there. I don't know, you haven't watched that video yet, so you don't know what you got, but
no, I have not, but I'm sure it looks amazing.
So yeah, we really enjoyed that hike. I think that maybe we were at a little bit higher elevation compared to the Moraine Trail, so I think the wildflowers weren't quite as impressive there. But it was still really pretty. Loved it.
The approach on Skyline, there were some good wildflowers. And I think once we got down to the falls, we got down lower on Golden Gate, there were some good wildflowers. No, once you get up, and I don't know all the elevations, so I can't say like we were at Alpine.
Alpine, subalpine.
So,
the meadows are subalpine.
No, the wildflowers, you're not amongst the wildflowers the entire time on the Skyline Trail. If you're fortunate and lucky enough to be married to somebody that can get you to Mount Rainier during wildflower bloom, when you're on the Skyline Trail and you get up in elevation, you're not going to be in the wildflowers. They're not there.
In a year, you're going to be like, it was so lucky that we got to go there during wildflower bloom.
I literally just said it.
No, you're going to say, it was so lucky that we ended up there at that time.
I say that, and I feel like you take it a different way than I say it. Like, your interpretation of me saying that is different than my intention of saying it and my thought process behind it. We're lucky that we were able to go at that time, and I get there was planning on your part that went into it, but, like, we're here for this contract at this time. You requested the time off.
How lucky.
How long has the world existed, and we just so happen to be here at the right time in order to go to Rainier for wildflower season? How many people get to say that?
I don't know.
Not that many.
And
a very small percentage of the human population has ever been able to say that. We're lucky.
if you get to do this hike on a clear day, if you're lucky enough to do this hike on a clear day.
We got it on a clear day, and it was so good.
Which there were some clouds, but it was a pretty clear day.
I feel like for Rainier, it was a clear day.
And if you look to the south, you can see Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens, which is really cool. So I got some pictures with those two peaks and them. So that was a really good hike. So we did that, and then went back to the van.
For lunch and biscuits, because we still had brewed biscuits.
And what happened that morning before the hike?
What?
My coffee mug.
Oh, yeah, I didn't make a note of that, and I didn't figure we were going to talk about that.
But we have to, because what did I buy?
Whitney put her coffee mug on the step of the van and then decided she needed to kick her feet off on the step of the van to clean her shoes off, and then punted her coffee mug into the side of the van, which then ricocheted onto the ground. And because I'm not a world-class athlete with the reflexes of a world-class athlete, and I've got the back of a geriatric 90-year-old man, I couldn't launch myself downward fast enough to catch her mug.
I blame the site that we were at, because I was trying to hold the door open and deal with the dog and clean my feet and clean the dog.
Oh, so now we're stacking up how many things Whitney had to do, and Jake was just holding his mug, so it's Jake's fault.
No, I'm saying it was the site's fault, because if I hadn't been fighting with the door, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Just slide the door open until the door holds itself open.
I don't trust that. I feel like it's going to fall one day, because we were on quite a hill.
So Whitney broke her mug, unfortunately, which was her loon mug, and I was thinking I was going to order her a loon mug and have it delivered, but she decided instead to buy a new mug, which I'm not sure I'm crazy about right now. But
Why?
she bought a mug. I don't know.
It's pretty.
You were happy with your loon mug.
I was, but I'm happy with this one too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
As long as you're happy with it, so tell the people about your
The only
mug.
thing I don't like about it is, so I got after we ate lunch, I went in to get my souvenirs from the visitor center, and I got my postcard and my Christmas ornament, and I got a pin for Jake because he's decided to start collecting the national park
I don't know
pins.
if that's true, because
May or may not. He's collecting future national parks pins and may or may not order past national parks pins. We
had the conversation, and you never lended an opinion as to whether or not
I 100% did. I said, yeah, we would spend the money either way, whether you bought them all spread out.
Was that you saying it was okay to buy the pins?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. I'm the one that found it. I was like, oh, you can buy them all on the website at one time and just get them shipped to us.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
So bought Jake a pin.
It's a nice pin. You bought me a nice pin. You bought me a really nice pin. You could have bought me a different pin.
That was the best pin.
I realized that. No, that's what I said. You could have bought me You could have bought me like a $7 pin. You bought me a $15 pin. Not pen. Not like ink.
Like a lapel pin.
Not like an ink pen. Like a pin.
A lapel pin.
P-I-N that you like stick on a hat
or a lapel. A lapel. A lapel pin. Anyways, moving on. And I bought a new coffee mug that Jake doesn't like for some reason. The only thing I don't like about it is...
You don't like the lip.
It doesn't bother me. I've gotten used to it. The only thing I don't like about it is...
It's slick.
It gets very cold.
That...
So my hand gets cold holding it because it's stainless and enamel. And it sends the cold through it a lot more so than my ceramic mug.
I think it's a neat mug. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not even perfectly happy with my mug. I love my mug, but I still wish my mug was different.
You would just wish it held more liquid.
I wish it held more.
Mine holds plenty.
My mug weighs 37 pounds, and it holds 2 ounces of liquid.
So we did that, and then we went straight to the next hike.
No, we did not. We drove out of the park and went and filled with water.
Yeah, because the campground...
We spent 4 hours going to fill with water.
Don't be dramatic.
It was 45 minutes to go there. It was 45 to 50 minutes to get back because of all the construction.
You were going to say because of all the water.
No, the van makes enough power. The van doesn't care about a few extra gallons of water.
So because we had been on this trip for so long...
Y'all, I cannot speak highly enough of the EcoBoost V6 twin turbo Ford van. Like, you can take all your MPGs with the Mercedes diesel motors, but
I really want to say no one cares, but I would say that, and then you're going to get a message on like an email or on Instagram one day, be like, hey, I was listening to your video, what can you tell me about your engine?
Yeah. No, Ford is the way. If you want to put your foot down and get out of your own way, Ford is the way to go. if you want the clout boost of having a Mercedes Sprinter van, then go for it.
So because the fill station
But
was
you can
closed,
fit bigger tires, so I'm
and
jealous.
because we had been on this trip prior, like for so long, we were on day like 6 or 7 at this point. We left the national park.
We had done a good stretch of days with water.
Yeah, we had.
We'd done really well.
We left the national park.
And we shower every day.
We do. We're not.
I want the record to show we shower every day. We do dishes every day. And we fill our waters
a lot
a lot
to drink. And we are not dirty, filthy van lifers. We're clean, tidy van
Dirty,
lifers.
filthy van life food reviews.
Anyways, so we had to go out of the park to go to an RV park right outside the entrance.
Super friendly.
And he was so nice, and they let us just fill some water, and then we went back into the park, and then we went to our next hike.
Then we went to our next hike, which was Reflection Lake, which we wanted to do the day before.
If you look at it on all trails, it's called the High Lakes Loop Trail, and it starts at Reflection Lake and goes clockwise around Reflection Lake.
You said High Lake Loop Trail?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have.
And that's, I don't know if that's like technically what it is, but
That's what I'm going to label it as.
we did that. We started at the south end of Reflection Lake, went clockwise, and it goes through the woods, meandering up through the woods, over to Faraway Rock, and then comes down on the other side of Reflection Lake. It ended up being 2.93 miles, 550 feet of elevation gain. It took us a little over an hour. I feel like you're going to agree with me. If we were to go back, I enjoyed the view from Faraway Rock, and I think it would be a really cool spot to hang out and like drink a beer or whatever. I would do it as an out and back. I wouldn't do the loop again.
You see, I don't even remember the view. I was going to say, I don't feel like I would have to do this hike again.
It was where we saw the two people sitting eating snacks on the rock, like outcropping. It would be a really cool spot to sit and have a beer.
If you did the short out and back counterclockwise to the rock, yes. But the unfortunate part about that is then you're along the road for part of the hike, probably half of the hike.
Well, you could park closer because there was parking
That's
all
true.
down there.
Park on the eastern more part of the lake and do the out and back to the... Yes. 100%.
So it was, I mean,
so
if you
park easternmost on the lake and go to what rock?
it's called Faraway Rock.
Faraway Rock, do an out and back, just do that. That is 100% what we would do. No, it's still the woman in her Prius driving.
And you still don't wait until she turns and you get to see the bus,
No, I saw it. Like, this car is
driver's side.
No, this car is nuts. Like the simple fact, these people, she shouldn't have a driver's license.
She probably doesn't. So the view from there was really nice, and then people say really good things. Like you could continue on the Mazama Ridge Trail, but we didn't do that. So like there's so many trails in this park and so many loops and different combinations that you can make. But that trail was really nice. If you did it as an out and back, it would be quite easy and quite short.
Yeah.
With a really nice view too, and a nice spot to like hang out and have a snack if you wanted to.
100%, but doing the entire trail is unnecessary.
Yeah. So then we finished that trail, and then we decided this was Tuesday afternoon, and we technically had an entry ticket to get in. We had a Cougar Rock reservation that night, and an entry ticket to get into Sunrise the next morning
At 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m., but we're early risers, so I was like, you know what, how about we just drive over tonight, and we can see if we can, you only need the entry ticket from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Well, you asked me, and we both agreed to just go over there that night.
We were like, we can just try to go in after 5 p.m. when you no longer need an entry ticket and see if we can get a camping spot at White River, and then we'll already be in there.
Yeah.
And so we decided to do that. On the way, we stopped at Box Canyon, which was not really a hike. It's a little walk. And you can just look down into a slot canyon with a river. I don't know what river it is, but a river running through it. And it was cool looking, but it was like...
I didn't do it. I stayed with the dog. Whitney went and did it.
I mean, you saw the pretty part of it.
Yeah, and if you go to the Box Canyon parking area and just go look at it from the parking area, I can't speak to what you saw, but I don't feel like I needed to walk up the road.
No, you didn't need to, for sure.
in order to see anything different. Box Canyon's worth stopping at if you like slot canyons and you like just seeing canyons and just seeing what water can do.
And like the fact that water was just roaring through there.
Yeah, so like if you just want to be able to see what water can do over the course of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, then it's really neat to go look at, and it's worth going to look at. I don't think it's necessary to try to cross the road where no one wants to stop anyway and let you cross the road.
So we did that and then continued to head up to Sunrise, and we got there like 4:45 and sat.
I don't have times in my notes, babe. I don't know.
Well, I say that because we had to sit outside the entry for 15 minutes while we waited.
Yeah, we went over there. So another thing that we didn't touch on that I want to make sure we touch on, and I should have said this earlier, there is not great cell coverage.
Oh no, but that's I think a given.
It is, but it's also nice to know. So if you're in a campground at Rainier National Park, I wish I would have remembered to say this earlier, you don't have cell phone coverage. If you're in the campground, if you have Starlink, yes.
Maybe.
Because
there's a lot of trees.
We have AT&T and we have T-Mobile, and with AT&T and T-Mobile, you have no coverage.
But in Sunrise at the visitor center, there was great service.
Well, we're going to get there, but I wanted to...
Oh, I meant Paradise. Paradise had great service.
Paradise, when you're up at the top of the hill, when you're in Paradise, you have good service. When you're on your hike, you'll have sporadic service.
Yeah.
At the visitor centers, at both visitor centers, at Paradise and at not at Sunrise.
Had intermittent.
Sunrise was intermittent. You had to be at Sunrise Point Overlook in the switchback curve where the parking spot is, where if you're going up there, you'll get to the switchback and you'll see the parking in between the switchback roads. And you'll be like, oh, that's a big parking area on the way to Sunrise Visitor Center. You have good service there.
Service there.
Amazing service. That's where you have good service at Sunrise. But, getting back to where we were, White River Campground for the night, we did not, I want to make sure we don't forget, we did not do a dark sky night that night.
Oh, yeah.
But we did.
The next night.
Mount Rainier is amazing for dark sky.
This summer, I don't know what their normal thing is, but this summer currently, 2025, after, y'all are going to listen to this after the summer's over, but they were doing dark sky programs on Saturday and Sunday only, I believe. So we didn't get to do one because we weren't there.
We did one on our own.
Well, like the ranger-led programs, we didn't get to do one because it was Saturday and Sunday.
But we'll get to ours. I just want to make sure we don't forget.
So we got to the campground. We got to the gate at 5 o'clock. We're 10th in line. Drove through, got up to the campground, which is a 10-minute drive inside the park.
So if you I don't know about how it is the rest of the year. We waited until the 5 p.m. entrance, and you don't have to have a timed entry to get into the park, but they don't stop manning the gates at 5 p.m. So you still have to be prepared, at least in our case, at 5:10 when we made it through the gate to present some type of pass in order to get into the park. I don't know what time.
You just don't have to have the entry.
I don't know what time they stopped doing the gates, but you didn't have to have an entry time past 5 p.m., but you still had to be able to provide proof of entry as far as an access pass of some sort or purchase a pass in order to get in until 7 or 9 p.m.?
You always have to have a pass to go in.
Okay.
It's a paid park.
Okay.
So we got there and then drove up to the White River Campground hoping that we would be able to get a site, which we did. So we reserved that.
We did. The ranger at the entrance station told us that the last he had seen hours before, they were about 50% full, and we were worried they were going to be full by the time we got there. The park was never full.
No.
There were always sites available.
We were only there during the week.
If you're like us and you're stressed about it, you might not need to be stressed about it. There might be spots available. If you don't have any reservations, if it's first come, first serve, whatever the situation is. If you're like me and you like to know what you're heading into and you're stressed because it's unknown and you just don't know if there's going to be a site, I'm not telling you there's a 100% chance that there's going to be a site, but you can ease your mind a little bit. There's probably going to be a site. And all of the sites are janky. You're not going to get a perfect site. So be prepared, you could get a decent site and only have to level one corner, or you need to be prepared to level at 3 corners. But there's probably going to be a site available.
But if you're multiple people, stand in one site and then the other person drive back to the last loop to drive through the last loop, because there's some sites on the river that would be super nice.
There are some really
cool sites back there.
Really nice, really big, really cool, like
riverfront. Like you can't
sites.
get to the river, I don't think, but you can see the river and hear the river, and it would be really cool to stay at one of those.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're really cool
so
sites.
go check out the very back loop.
So if you're planning on spending a lot of
D.
time, D. I think it was D.
ABC.
If you're planning on spending a lot of time at your site and you want a really nice, if you don't care, if you're like us and you're literally only at your site to park, shower, and sleep, or park, shower, sleep, and eat, like you don't care. But if you're going to spend time there and you want a nice place to be, D has some amazing riverfront, big sites.
And they have a good bathhouse. Or
And
a
they-
good shower.
and they
A
have-
good toilet.
And they have a good toilet. So that was really neat. We went over and did that. And the next morning...
So we got our site there, and then the next morning we got up and we drove. It's like another 20-ish minutes up to the Sunrise Visitor Center. So we got there.
Call it 30.
20 to 30 minutes.
Just assume it's going to be 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes. And we got there and we did the Mount Fremont fire lookout hike.
Okay, I have Mount Fremont Fire Lookout Trail, a.k.a. the Fire Tower Trail.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was your favorite.
I loved it.
It was really good.
It was so cool.
It was great. It is an out and back.
Was it my favorite? Yeah. It might have been my favorite. It was my favorite for sure.
You'll have to let us know if you change your mind.
It was my favorite. No, the Fire Lookout Trail was my favorite.
So this was the longest hike. I don't remember if I said our stats for Skyline. Skyline and Golden Gate Loop ended up being 4.75 miles, 1,621 feet of elevation gain.
Which is not insignificant, but it's not all at one time.
And it's gradual for
Yeah.
the most part. And then Mount Fremont via the Sourdough Ridge Trail ended up being 5.85 miles, but it was only 1,119 feet of elevation gain. So it's an out and back. It's not a loop.
We're going to talk about this for an hour. It's going to be such a long episode. Just talking about this hike is going to take forever.
It's along a ridge, which is really cool. It's not a ridge where you're like...
This is a Jake hike. Like, the entire hike is an ooh-ah moment.
It's views the entire way. Like,
The
there's
whole way.
there's never a time when you don't have something to look at. And you're along a ridge for a while, looking down into a valley with Mount Rainier on the other side. And you've got a lake that you walk past, and you've got snow with red algae blooms all over it.
And you've got mountain goats
And
in the field down below you, and you've got mountain goats on the rocks up above you.
We saw, are they herds?
We saw 50 mountain goats.
42. You counted.
I counted 42. The girl walking past us said 50. We'll split the difference and call it 46 and a half.
No, don't say that.
What?
All the mountain goats were whole.
One was one.
There were babies.
There were two.
Do the babies count as half?
There were two, and each one was missing a leg.
So there were a big herd cluster of mountain goats down in the valley below us, and then we walked along farther, and then we saw like 5 or 6 mountain goats on the rocks up above us, and they had a baby, and we could see them really well. And there were marmots everywhere. Where'd you get that?
I don't know. It was in the floor.
There were mountain goats above us, and then there were marmots on the trail that we had to wait for them to get out of the way.
So many marmots. The marmots didn't care. The marmots are not afraid. The marmots will not get out of your way. Please don't feed the marmots. Like, keep the wild wild. I'm not accusing anyone of doing
I don't think people, because they weren't coming and begging from us.
No,
which
I'm not accusing anyone of doing it. But if you're on the trail and the marmots won't get out of your way, don't try to have a Disney princess moment with the marmots. Don't try to feed the marmots. The marmots have plenty of food. The marmots are plenty fat. Like, there is no question as to whether or not the marmots are getting enough food. Do not feed the marmot and try to have a Disney princess moment. Keep the wild wild. The chipmunks are wild enough as it is. I do not need marmots climbing up my leg trying to get...
That would be terrifying.
Right? So, yeah. But, like, there's video of us with marmots, like, right in front of us. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, like, do we turn around? I want to finish the trail, but I also don't want to come too close to this marmot because A marmot is the same as a moose, is the same as a bear. I don't want to come too close to any of them and bother them and upset them and do anything to make them do anything other than what they want to do. But there are obviously, if you go back and watch the video for the Fire Tower Trail, we obviously came a little bit too close to marmots in a couple of circumstances. They don't care. Please don't feed the marmots. Please don't feed the chipmunks. Please don't feed the mountain goats. Feed yourself, which you probably don't need to do anyway. You're not going to die from lack of snacks on a hike. But continuing on, we made it along the ridge line where we saw the mountain goats up above us, and then you make it over to the fire tower, which offers absolutely spectacular views all the way around. 360 degree, just everything is spectacular. Rainier, I mean, if you're as lucky as we are, we got some pretty amazing photos of ourselves in front of Rainier from the fire tower. I'm probably not supposed to say this. Whitney hit a marble over by the fire tower.
I did hide a marble.
A massive marble that no one's ever going to find. It's going to end up getting stolen by a civilian, which is disappointing.
I'm going to comment on it right now and say somebody go get this weekend.
And then, I mean, the way back is just as amazing as the way in. Of course, it's a little bit easier because you're not fighting that elevation to get there. But, yeah, like, I can't say enough good things about the Mount Fremont Fire Lookout Trail, aka Fire Tower Trail.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
So we got done with that, made it back to the parking lot, and we secured a parking spot that was right next to a no parking zone. So we kind of set up in the no parking zone and established it as our own and hung out there for a little while, and eventually decided there's a little white dog that just went barreling down that giant rock over there, and there's another black and white dog that's about to go down. We finally decided that the hot dogs were they were too attractive.
No.
What? I have the hike, and then I have hot dogs. Oh, no! Wait! Stop it! And then we did lunch at the van, and we hung out, and then we did the Silver Forest Trail. We did the Silver Forest Trail before we got hot dogs.
And then on that hike...
I've got a massive picture of hot dogs, and it says hot dogs, and I have the Silver Forest Trail mixed in with my hike from the fire tower. So it's easy to get skipped over.
We did another hike.
We did
the Silver Forest Trail, which is a little out and back. It was we did 2 miles. You could have gone farther. We went to the end of the maintained trail. I think you could have gone like another half to 3/4 of a mile.
I didn't want to leave Sandy any more than we had already left her.
Yeah, it was easy. It was really pretty wildflowers. It had some nice views of Rainier. It was a good, easy, nice payoff hike.
I thought Silver Forest was worth doing.
Yeah, I would do it again.
If you're already at sunrise,
Didn't know what that was. I was like, who's knocking on the van?
If you're already at sunrise, if you've already done a pretty intense hike, depending on what you've done, like there are some crazy hikes you can do from sunrise. If you've got it in you to do something else and you just want something easy, you don't have to leave. Just go over to the other corner of the parking lot and do Silver Forest.
Yeah, it was short, 2 miles.
It was super pretty.
Super pretty. Really good wildflowers, really good views of Rainier. It was cloudier at that point in time, so we didn't get a full view of Rainier. The top was cut off by a cloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I would do it again for sure.
And then hot dogs.
And then on that hike, we discussed the hot dogs that were in the visitor center there.
They were
Not
ridiculous.
the visitor center, but
They were cooking those suckers up that morning, and I went in there and I was like, when we finished when we finished the Mount Fremont Fire Lookout Trail, I actually went into the visitor center, and the only reason I knew about the hot dogs was because I went in to get a beer because I wanted another Rainier lager. And that's where the other picture came from that I have. It's a really good picture of the Rainier lager in front of Rainier. It's such a good picture. So we did that, and then because I saw the hot dogs, they're good hot dogs. They were on the roller. They were cooking.
We're on the roller.
They are on the roller doing their thing, like attracting me, luring me in with their glistening glizziness. Just absolute hot dog magic. And then if you look at the picture, like mine is completely engulfed in a sea of mustard.
Of course.
And Whitney's is dolloped with ketchup and mustard. Just, the hot dog was amazing. the buns, they could do better buns. Like, they could really source better buns, but the hot dogs are really good. They're like quarter-pound hot dogs. We got our hot dogs. We finished at Sunrise Visitor Center and went to Sunrise. Unless I'm missing anything. Am I missing anything? We talked to a lot of people. We met Mr. Bill. We talked to Mr. Bill for a while. We met the nice family in the Rivian and talked to the nice family in the Rivian for a little while and showed the van off. So I went and asked the guy. We saw a Rivian. Whitney likes how Rivians look. I asked the guy how he likes his Rivian. He uses it as a tax write-off for his business, so good for him. And then we walked 2 cars over to our van, and he was like, whoa, you're asking me about the Rivian, and you've got this van. So he came over and started looking at the van.
That was funny.
Like, little did he realize I was just asking him, like, hey, what do you think of your SUV? And then he looks over, and he's like, yo, you've got an apartment on wheels. So we showed him the van. I'm not going to lie, the van is cool. The van's cool as hell. The van's awesome. As far as vans go, there aren't many vans out there that are as good as our van. I have yet to see one that I like as much as our van, but I'm biased. We designed the van, so the van is exactly what we want. But the van is good. The van's awesome. If you know about the story with the van, you know we didn't start off in love with the van. But we're in love with the van now. So we showed it off to him. He enjoyed it. He got a kick out of it. Mr. Bill was amazing to talk to. But we left and ended up going to the hairpin turn, the U-turn, at Sunrise Point Lookout. And we drank a beer there, played around on our phones when we realized that we had good reception, and ended up recording an episode.
Yep.
That was the other episode that we recorded. And finished there and went back to White River Campground for the night again. The same campground that we were already at, the first come, first served campground. And we did our stargazing. Dark night tour that night.
Jake woke up at 12:30 in the morning and needed to pee.
I woke up at 12:30 and needed to pee, and then I'd already decided when I was going to sleep, I went to sleep at like 8:30 or 9, and it was not dark outside at all. And I was like, I'm not capable of staying awake until it's dark, and I'm not capable of staying awake until it's dark and being able to drag myself outside to look at the stars once it's dark enough to see the stars. So I was like, if I wake up at some point tonight, I'm going to go look at the stars. So I woke up and got dressed after I used the restroom and told Whitney, hey, I'm going to look at the stars. Do you want to come? And I think she kind of had a moment where she was like, I'd really like to stay in bed. But then Mr. Bill had told us how amazing the stars were at sunrise the night before. And I think she was like, no, I think I'd like to go see the stars. So we walked over to the, I'm going to call it the rock climbing parking lot.
Yeah, like the day use parking lot.
The day use parking lot. We walked over there from our site, which is a 5-minute walk, and sat there for no more than 30 minutes, waited for our eyes to adjust. And I mean, you had, the number doesn't matter. It's, you can't just say a number, and it was more stars than that. It doesn't matter what number you say, it was more stars than that.
We were starting to be able to pick out the Milky Way as our eyes adjusted.
As we were going back and walking back to the trailer, I kept getting distracted because I could see more and more of the Milky Way. It certainly was not Big Bend, Texas, dark sky, and it was not Great Basin, which is in, I'm not going to know, just say it. Nevada. Yeah, I would have said Utah. Dark sky, but it was a really good dark sky. Top 3 dark sky. For us. So it's really pretty. If you're in that area in Rainier for a clear night, I recommend waking up in the middle of the night to pee and then walk outside and look at the stars, because why not? Like, go outside and look and see what your ancestors used to see every night. So that was amazing. That was totally worth it. We went to Emmons Moraine Trail the next morning. That's all I was going to say. That's all the detail I have.
Which is from the D loop of the campground. So we didn't
that's the one we did from the campground.
It is.
That was when D came over and asked us what the name. So we're standing there filling our waters at the restroom where they had a water fill station, and I've got the camera mounted up on the shoulder of my ruck, and a guy comes walking up with 2 kids, and he's like, hey, are you a YouTuber? And I was like, well...
Is that how that conversation... I was wondering how y'all started having
No, he walked up and was just like, are you a YouTuber? And I was like, well, I post videos on YouTube. And he looked at one of the little kids and he was like, you see, I told you so. So we started talking to them, and they wanted to know what the name of our channel was, and they never figured out the name of the channel. I told them. They didn't remember it.
Did you ever look for him?
Yeah. He has one video from 6 years ago.
Oh.
And I don't even know if it's him.
Okay. I was going to say, I see Dave D fishing.
No, you have to look up the D-D-E-E fishing channel. And it's the D fishing channel, and then it's a number after it.
Okay.
And he has one video. And it's hard to find. Did you find it? Whitney's looking for it. I don't know if she'll find it.
Here it is. 11 videos, 17 subscribers. D fishing channel.
Is that on Instagram? I was looking on YouTube.
This is YouTube.
Oh, I found the wrong thing. You found the right thing. I found the wrong thing. That's his channel. Sorry, D. I found the wrong channel when I looked you up on YouTube. I was like, this dude on this channel that I found is not D, but I found the wrong channel. So I need to look up what Whitney just found.
D fishing channel. So talk to him, and then we did the Emmons Moraine Trail. Yeah, Emmons Moraine Trail.
I liked it.
From the campground, which was nice because we left Sandy in the van. We didn't have to move the van or anything, and she just went back to sleep.
Which is less stressful for her. Like, if we don't have to move the van, if we don't have to go through the whole move the family routine, I think she's better.
Yeah. So...
And I think she's better in the van than she is in the trailer. I told you this the other day in a text message. I think the van, when we close the van up, it's, like, more compact. There's not as much space. When she's in the trailer, it's too much space.
Yeah.
She needs to be in a box. And the van is as close to a box as you can get.
So we did that trail. It ended up being a little over 3 miles, 670 feet of elevation. It took us a little over an hour. It's an out and back. It's along the White River for parts of it, which is really cool. You actually cross the White River on a log bridge, which was nice. You've got some good views of Mount Rainier, and then you get to see Emmons Glacier, which is what is it? Do you remember?
No, sorry. I'm looking at how much left there is in the rest of this episode that I think is going to be a third episode.
It's the largest glacier in the contiguous United States, which was cool. So we got to hike to that. And then that finished our time at Mount Rainier, and we left. And then decided when we left that we were going to try to paddleboard. So where'd we try to go paddleboard? Do you remember?
Well, you're skipping the mountain goat in Packwood, Washington.
Well, on our way to the lake that we were going to try to paddleboard at,
I got beans.
I
got a drip coffee.
I spotted this coffee shop called the Mountain Goat in Packwood, Washington, that had really good reviews. So we stopped, and you got beans, a coffee. I didn't get a coffee.
You did not?
I did.
No, you got a mocha.
I did get a mocha.
You got a cold brew with mocha, and it was so good.
Really good. We got a blueberry muffin because a lot of people mentioned the blueberry muffins.
And
the blueberry
I was
muffin
skeptical. I feel like you're starting to rush because I just said how much more we have to go through, and I don't want to rush. The episode's going to be whatever the episode is. I was skeptical of the blueberry muffin.
You were skeptical of the whole place.
I was skeptical of the entire place.
Because it's like
it was
middle
undeserved.
of the woods.
It was undeserved.
Small town Washington.
Well, it's one of those... It's one of those, like, you go to a small place in a small town and it gets good reviews because it's the place.
It's the only thing there is.
Right.
But the blueberry
so
muffin...
it's not unfounded to be skeptical of these places.
The blueberry muffin was really good. Would get again.
Really good. Great flavor. Tons of blueberries.
Tons of bloobs. And then, did you put in your note what the scone was?
It was the breakfast scone with... Oh, all I said was breakfast scone.
You're fired.
What? It was bacon, ham... Cheddar.
And either jalapenos or chives.
Chives.
Okay.
We put habanero pepper jelly on it. One of the best experiences.
It was so good. That's what I texted Alexis, and I was like, I just had a scone that might have been life-changing.
And she said, life-changing? I was expecting wildflower pictures.
And it was a scone. So that scone was so good.
Not crumbly scone.
No, it was like almost like a biscuit.
It was a biscuit.
It
was an American scone for sure.
It was a biscuit masquerading as a scone.
Yeah, it was not a British scone. It was an American scone. Like, take that for whatever meaning you want to take it as. Whitney and I prefer, like, I don't know the right word to use without using a bad word. We prefer scones that have been removed from their original intention and are more tender, not tender.
We don't
moist.
like dry, crumbly scones. We
No, we
like
don't.
moist scones.
Thank you. That's good enough. We also got a ginger molasses cookie. I said it was a perfect holiday cookie. I thought it was perfectly spicy and warming. You wanted more ginger, and you said it was too earthy from the molasses.
Yeah, I didn't get much ginger off
And
of it.
I thought it was like perfectly in between snappy and moist. And I thought it could have gone more to snappy. I would have preferred it more to snappy.
Yeah, I liked how it was, the texture.
I said I would get it again, and we got the oatmeal chocolate chip coconut almond cookie.
Which was really good.
Yes, very good.
So everything we got from there was good.
We loved everything.
So we did that. We wanted to go paddleboard. Did you put the lake?
Rife.
Riffy.
R-I-F-F-E Lake. Call it what you want. As far as I'm concerned, it's Rife.
And I say Riffy. Or Riff.
In Morton,
Riff
Washington.
Lake.
We got over there, and it was just way too windy.
Really windy.
The water was white capping. It would not have been a good day. We got out there, and then we drove over to
Mayfield Lake. I do remember that one.
the Mayfield Lake boat launch in Mossy Rock, Washington for lunch, our scone, and both of our cookies.
Yep.
Which
So we sat there, enjoyed our lunch.
is a good spot. So if Whitney hadn't already decided we weren't going to go paddleboarding that day, and I hadn't already accepted that we weren't going to do anything else, the conditions were perfect. The lake looked
Yeah,
beautiful.
it was not
would have been
nearly
a
as
perfect.
windy.
No, it would have been an amazing time to go out, but it was starting to get late. We had eaten lunch at that point. Like, we were ready to get on with the day. There was no paddleboarding to be done. We'd already given up on paddleboarding that day. But if you need a good spot to go paddleboard, Mayfield Lake and Mossy Rock looked really, really, really good.
Yeah, we saved it to go to in the future. And then...
What? Baker Point Farm Stand? Or what?
No?
What? We went to the farm stand before Calypso.
Did we?
Yeah, so we went to a Baker Point farm stand. I don't have where it is. I don't have good enough service to look it up. We got sausage. We got garlic sausage, and we got hot Italian sausage. I preferred the garlic sausage. We had it. We cooked it. We bought it frozen. We saved it for later. We had it a few nights ago. I preferred the garlic. Whitney preferred the hot Italian. We both think the hot Italian could have been hotter, but it was still very good, excellent, no matter what.
And this is in Vernonia, Oregon.
Oh, was Baker Point Farm Stand in Vernonia?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to put that. Hold on. You can continue on with Calypso if you want to.
So we got those things, and then we are always in the mood for ice cream. So I found a soft serve place that has really high reviews called Calypso Soft Serve Ice Cream, also in Vernonia. So we went over there, and it's like a little trailer type thing with soft serve. We each got a milkshake.
It's barely a milkshake. Mine was Oreo crumbles with a side of ice cream.
And I got
You got
vanilla
caramel.
with caramel sauce, extra caramel sauce, and Oreos.
I said 20 out of 10.
And they were so good. Like, for a soft serve milkshake, 10 out of 10 would recommend, would get again. We have it saved and we'll go back.
Yeah, and he was so nice.
And he was so nice. So we did that, and then we went on to pizza. We decided we wanted to drive home on the coast instead of down the 5, so we hit Tillamook on our way out, is where we hit the coast, and drove 15 minutes north to Garibaldi and went to Jake's favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We went to Crab Rock Pizza. Whitney's not as crazy about it as me. She goes as far as to say it's flavorless.
I did not say that. I said Zola's has more flavor.
They just introduced breadsticks,
Which
which
were really good.
You could call cheesy sticks. They are breadsticks with garlic and cheese added to them. They're good. They're really good. And I think they're only $10. So between the pizza and the breadsticks, Whitney and I both left plenty full, plenty satisfied for $35. $37 if you count the $2 thing of ranch, but whatever. Charge what you want to charge for ranch. I'm gonna buy it because I love ranch, but
With the pizza.
I like pizza with my ranch. I love Crab Rock. Whitney doesn't.
I enjoy it. It's just not my favorite pizza.
Whatever.
It's really good. Their crust is really good.
We get the Rough Bar. It's their spicy pizza, but I mean,
With
they're
hot honey.
yeah, it's their spicy pizza because it has hot honey
It has peppers on it.
and hot honey. We don't add hot honey.
It's not the hot honey that makes it spicy, though.
It's not the hot honey that makes you spicy. So we left there, finished at Crab Rock, and then went back into Tillamook, and I decided that, well, Whitney had asked if we could go to DeGard and get a bottle of Saison, which is called the Daily, in order to drink that night. The Daily. The Daily. I said the Daily. And did you finish this yet? No, there's still a sip in there for you. So we went over to DeGard, and I got a bottle of the Daily. Whitney and the dog waited in the van. And while I was inside buying a bottle, I realized they had on draft Blessed from Anchorage for an astronomically affordable price. For 6 ounces, they were selling it for $8. And that sounds crazy. But if you take into consideration that if you go to Total Wine and they just so happen to have a 12-ounce bottle of Anchorage barrel-aged beer, it's probably going to be $75 or more for a 12-ounce bottle. So I got 6 ounces, which is, if you're good at math, half
of 12
of a 12-ounce bottle, which mathematically would yield you a price of over $30 of the equivalent retail price, but I got it for $8. And long story short, I still prefer my Breakside stouts. I've had an infatuation with having an Anchorage stout for a while now. I have annoyed Whitney on multiple occasions about wanting to spend the amount of money that it takes to get my hands on an Anchorage stout, and I can now confidently say that I'm perfectly fine purchasing Breakside stouts for less than $1 an ounce versus the price that is the ransom of Anchorage. Moving on from there, we went to Chinook. What?
Oh, I was trying to remember where we stayed that night. That's a weenie dog.
Chinook Winds Casino RV.
Oh, that's right.
In Lincoln City.
Yeah, if you call and talk to security, they'll allow you to stay overnight in the upper parking lot.
And they have a dedicated RV parking lot, so it's not even like a sketchy random parking lot. It's still a sketchy parking lot. There were so many people up there.
So many campers up there. But it was a nice spot to stay in Lincoln City.
We stayed at the casino in Lincoln City, went to Rhodes End for coffee the next morning in Lincoln City, hung out over there, went over to Devil's Punch Bowl for
which is Depot Bay, right?
Devil's Punch Bowl is technically Depot Bay. We went and did some tide pulling. I did a little bit of agate hunting. I got distracted. Whitney continued on over to the literal Devil's Punch Bowl, or headed over there while I was agate hunting. I finally tore myself away from the agates.
I think the dog has a dingleberry.
And it might. What's a dingleberry? And met up with her. There's going to be a video of this, like, way back in time. Like, right now, I hadn't even made it to it, but by the time this video posts, it would have been from so long ago. You can look at tide pulling at Devil's Punch Bowl.
We saw the biggest starfish we've ever seen.
Dude, it was so big.
It was really cool. I really enjoyed that we did that.
Yeah, I'm glad we went out there. And we hit it at the perfect time. It was low tide.
I saw a sea urchin for the first time ever, besides on TV.
And
we saw a bunch of them.
You found one, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's one, there's one, there's one.
How do people catch them? They're just in the holes. How do you get them?
They're on the sea floor. When you go diving, like, they're just on the ocean floor. Oh. You just grab it with your gloves. Tough gloves.
That was really fun.
We went to Chubby Little Mermaid in Seal Rock, which we've talked about before. We got a chocolate chip cookie for Mr. Ron. We got a truffle brownie for Miss Charlotte. And then we got cheddar biscuits.
Oh, those were good.
That were so good.
Oh, and a sandwich.
Yeah, and we got a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, which the bacon was kind of...
was really meh.
Yeah,
really meh.
We don't have to have one again, but their biscuits are really good.
Yeah,
I would get their biscuits again for sure.
I think I like their biscuits more than Rolling Pin.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Did we get anything else there?
No.
And then we went to...
Yachats.
And went to...
Bread and Roses.
Bread and Roses, which is a bakery we actually didn't technically have saved, but I've been looking at for a while.
Yeah, no
And they've
saved.
just never been open when we've gone.
In our minds, it was saved.
And we got...
an apple raspberry Danish.
I was trying to remember what it was. That was really good that we ate right then and there.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Very good dough, spiced apple filling, just enough raspberry for acidity. Not the best thing I've ever had. Like, it wasn't earth-shattering. I wasn't like, I have to come back for this, but it was good.
Yeah. And then we got the cinnamon flour?
Cinnamon rose.
Same thing. There was like their version of a cinnamon roll.
I thought it was good. It was a laminated cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Like you said while we were eating it, like, who puts forth the effort to laminate the dough for a cinnamon roll?
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought the cinnamon filling was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the cinnamon filling was up there with anything we've ever had as far as a cinnamon roll goes.
Could have used more frosting, but other than that, yeah, it was really good.
Could have used more frosting, but as far as the cinnamon filling and the texture of the dough, it was as good as any cinnamon roll we've ever had.
And did we get anything else? We got the apple cake
No, that
from
was
Mr.
it.
Larry.
Yeah, you got. I didn't even put that, but you got the apple thing from Mr. Larry. He said it was good. He said he didn't know what it was. He's like, I don't know what it was. I don't know what to call it, but it was good.
And then
Big Dog.
I went to Big Dog in Florence.
Florence, Oregon. Jake and Whitney. I woke up that morning and called and had a cinnamon roll held for Miss Deb, an apple fritter held for Whitney, and a maple apple fritter held for myself.
So we went and got those. We didn't eat our fritters right away.
No, we ate those
saved them for dessert that night.
We ate them that night.
But when you went in to pick up the stuff, you came out and I was putting stuff in the microwave for saving, and I looked at the cinnamon roll and I was like, this smells really good. And you were like, there's one more.
Oh, yeah, I went back
there's
inside.
One more in there. Should I go get it? I was like, yeah, you might as well. So we got a cinnamon roll too.
I forgot about that. We went back inside and bought the last cinnamon roll and then ended up eating that. We went to the Umpqua Lighthouse for lunch. We drank a DeGard, we had our biscuits, and we ate the cinnamon roll.
And it was a good lunch.
Oh, it was a fantastic lunch. Most of our lunches are great. Our lunch today was great.
Where did I find a marble?
I don't know, babe. It's not in my notes. I'm not sure. The marbles are for you to keep up with. That night, we got home for dinner. I drank a Breakside Stout because Whitney said I'm not drinking my Breakside Stouts fast enough. We had our apple fritters, and we had our cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Fat Irish the next morning for breakfast.
And that's the end of the trip, people.
And that was the end of the time off.
That's the end of the National Park episode. There's a little bit of a kicker at the end, so if you listened all the way through, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully that was enough insight for Mount Rainier to help you out a little bit with planning a trip, or at least give you some information that you otherwise wouldn't have, or a little more information than you could find from other sources.
One other thing that I've always wondered that people may already know or may wonder, like I did, about the first come first serve rec.gov campgrounds is, I was like, how do you get a campground if they're like reserved during the day? At this particular campground at White River, campsites become available to reserve in person at 7 a.m. the morning that somebody is departing. So somebody came through and removed all of the tickets that were like on the signpost saying they were reserved that morning, and then they can be reserved again. So you can just go through, and if it says they're departing that day at 7 a.m., you can reserve.
There might be somebody in that spot because checkout's not until noon.
Yes, but you can reserve it at 7 a.m. and you can reserve for up to 14 days at a time. So like once you get there and reserve it, you can take it for 14 days.
And
so
you don't
I've
have to
always
worry about,
questioned that.
You don't have to worry about leaving a chair. You don't have to worry about leaving anything to mark your spot. As long as your placard is filled out and left at your site and it has your departure date on it, you have it until that departure
and you've
date.
Paid, yeah, you're good.
At 7 a.m. Now, at 7 a.m. when they come through and remove that placard on your departure date, somebody can claim that site. So if you think you want to stay extra and you don't claim that site and somebody puts their placard up and claims that site for that night, you're out of luck.
So yeah, I did want to mention that.
No, that's
because
a good
that was
thing to mention.
something that I've always been like, how do you get a site if there's somebody in it? Like, how do you know if they're leaving or not?
Yeah.
So I learned that, and that was good to know.
All right, good enough. Long episode. That's enough. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.